I saved a starving wolf, and now he's losing it, scratching at the diner's grill. What's he trying to tell me before it's too late? I'm James Carter, a mechanic who's seen more rust than sunshine in this sleepy Midwest town of Willow Creek. My hands are stained with grease, my boots scuffed from years of kicking around the garage, and my life's about as exciting as a flat tire. That is, until that biting December morning in 2019 when everything changed. The air's sharp with cold, slicing through my thin jacket as I shove open the front door of my rickety old house. A steady drizzle taps against the sagging roof, the kind of rain that soaks you slow and leaves you shivering. I'm expecting nothing but the usual gray day ahead. Maybe a busted carburetor to fix, maybe a cup of burnt coffee, when something small and dark scrambles past my legs. I freeze, heart thudding like a piston. It's a wolf pup, black as midnight, no bigger than a football, darting inside like it owns the place. Its fur's plastered with mud, dripping wet from the rain, and it's trembling so hard I can hear its teeth chatter. Those eyes, though, dark and wide, like two dim lanterns flickering in the gloom, lock onto mine. They're begging, plain as day, for me to do something. I don't know where it came from. No wolves roam these parts, not wild ones anyway. The nearest forest is miles off, and this little guy's too scrawny to have made it that far alone. My first thought is to shoo it back out, let nature sort it out. But then it lets out this tiny, pitiful whimper, and my chest tightens. All right, you're a scrawny little thing, I mutter, crouching down. It doesn't bolt, just stares up at me, shivering. I can't leave it out there to freeze. My conscience wouldn't let me sleep. I grab a crusty heel of bread from the counter, something I was gonna toss anyway, and hold it out. The pup sniffs, then snaps it up like it hasn't eaten in days. Its tail gives a weak little wag, and I feel a grin tug at my mouth despite myself. Guess you're staying, huh? The house smells like wet dog and motor oil now, a mix that'd wrinkle most folks' noses, but I don't mind. I scoop the pup up, light as a toolbox, and carry it to the bathroom. The tub's chipped and stained, but it'll do. Warm water sloshes as I rinse off the mud, my rough hands gentle for once. The grime swirls down the drain, and what's left is this jet black coat that shines like polished coal when I towel it dry. Up close, I see how bony it is, ribs poking under that sleek fur. Starved little runt, I say, shaking my head. What am I gonna do with you? I set it down on the cracked linoleum, and it sticks close, padding after me as I shuffle to the kitchen. Every step I take, it's right there, a shadow glued to my heels. That's when the name hits me, Max, simple, strong, like the way he's already decided I'm his. I toss him another scrap, a bit of stale biscuit this time, and he wolfs it down, those dark eyes never leaving me. Outside, the rain's picking up, drumming harder against the windows, and I can feel the chill seeping through the walls. It's just me and Max now, two strays in a drafty house, and I wonder what I've gotten myself into. By afternoon, he's trailing me everywhere, across the living room, out to the garage where I tinker with an old Chevy, even back inside when I grab a beer. His claws click on the floor, a quiet rhythm that fills the silence I'm used to. The town's dead quiet today, draped in that damp gray haze, and I catch myself talking to him like he's a buddy. You ever fix a gasket, Max? I ask, holding up a wrench. He tilts his head, ears perked, and I laugh. A rusty sound I haven't heard from myself in a while. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, or why this pup picked my doorstep out of all the ones in Willow Creek. Maybe it's chance, maybe it's something else. But as the light fades and the rain keeps falling, I feel a spark of something warm in my gut. Max curls up by the heater, his breathing steady, and I lean back in my chair, watching him. For the first time in years, this place doesn't feel so empty. The years roll by, and Max grows from that shaky little pup into something else entirely, sleek and strong, with a coat like black glass and eyes that cut through the dimmest days. It's 2024 now, and he's my shadow in every sense, padding alongside me through Willow Creek's muddy streets, or sprawling out in the garage while I wrestle with rusted bolts. My sister Sarah, who lives next door, wasn't sold on him at first. That wolf's gonna track dirt everywhere, she'd say, her voice sharp as she swept her porch. I'd just shrug. Max was mine, mess or not. But one snowy afternoon in December, everything shifts. The air's thick with flakes, the kind that stick to your eyelashes and turn the world silent. I'm in the garage, hunched over a busted radiator, my breath fogging in the cold. Max is dozing by the space heater, his ears twitching now and then. Then, out of nowhere, he snaps awake, a low growl rumbling in his throat. Before I can even look up, he's on his feet, barking, sharp, urgent, not his usual lazy yap. My stomach twists. "What's got you riled up?" I mutter, wiping my hands on a rag. He doesn't wait for me to figure it out. His teeth sink into my pant leg, tugging hard, nearly yanking me off balance. "Hey, easy!" I snap, but his eyes are wild, glowing yellow against the snow filtering through the open door. He pulls again, harder, and I stumble after him, heart pounding like a hammer on steel. The cold bites my face as we push outside, snow crunching under my boots. He's dragging me toward the old mill, a crumbling relic on the edge of town, its silhouette barely visible through the storm. The wind howls, stinging my ears, but Max keeps going, his bark swallowed by the gusts. My legs burn as I follow, dread creeping up my spine. We reach the mill, and he stops dead at the rim of an abandoned well, overgrown with weeds, half hidden by snow. He's growling low now, poised like a statue, his gaze locked on the hole. My chest tightens as I step closer, boots slipping on the icy ground. I peer over the edge, and my breath catches. There's Ethan, Sarah's 7-year-old boy, clinging to a jagged ledge maybe 10 feet down. His small hands are red and shaking, his face pale against the dark stone. "Ethan!" I yell, voice cracking. He looks up, eyes wide with fear, but he doesn't answer, just grips tighter as bits of dirt crumble beneath him. My knees wobble, the world tilting for a second. Max nudges me, whining, his nose cold against my hand. "Hold on, kid," I call down, fumbling for my phone. No signal, damn storms knocked it out. I glance at Max, his fur dusted with snow, and he stares back like he's saying, "Do something." I sprint back to the garage, Max at my heels, and grab a coil of rope from the workbench. My hands shake as I knot it around a rusted pipe near the well, praying it holds. "Stay here," I tell Max, but he doesn't. He paces the edge, growling soft and steady. I lower myself down, the rope burning my palms, snow swirling in my face. Ethan's closer now, his breath's puffing out in tiny clouds. "Grab my arm," I say, voice hoarse. He reaches, and I haul him up, his weight light but trembling against me. We scramble out, collapsing in the snow. My lungs burn, and Ethan's clinging to my jacket, quiet sobs shaking his little frame. Max is there in an instant, licking his face, nudging him like he's checking for brakes. I pull Ethan close, relief flooding me so hard I almost choke on it. "You're okay," I whisper, more to myself than him. The wind dies down just enough for me to hear Sarah's voice in the distance, calling his name. She must have noticed he'd slipped out. Later, after Ethan's safe at home with a mug of cocoa, Sarah finds me in the garage. She's still pale, but her eyes soften when they land on Max, sprawled by my feet. "Guess I was wrong about him," she says, voice low. She reaches down, hesitates, then gives his head a quick pat. He thumps his tail once, and I smirk. "Told you he's one of us." It's November 28th, 2024, and the Willow Creek diner is alive with noise. Forks clinking, voices overlapping, the sizzle of the grill cutting through it all. The air's thick with the smoky scent of meat. A big slab the cook scored cheap from some guy nobody's heard of. My stomach growls as I sit at the counter, nursing a lukewarm coffee, Max sprawled at my feet. His pups, 4 little black bundles, are tucked in a corner near the jukebox, napping on an old blanket I brought. The diner's packed, folks laughing over plates piled high, the warmth a sharp contrast to the gray chill outside. I'm halfway through a sip when Max bolts upright, ears perked, a deep bark ripping out of him. It's loud enough to make heads turn, the chatter dipping for a second. He's on his feet, pacing, his claws clicking fast against the worn tile. "What's up, boy?" I mutter, setting my mug down. His eyes are wide, brimming with something I can't place. Panic, maybe. Before I can grab him, he barrels toward the kitchen, barking like thunder, drowning out the hum of the diner. One of the cooks, a wiry guy named Pete, laughs and tosses him a chunk of meat from the grill. "Settle down, Mutt. Here's a treat," he says, wiping his hands on his apron. But Max doesn't eat it. He slams a paw on the piece, pinning it to the floor, and lets out another howl, sharp, desperate, cutting through me like a blade. My chest tightens. This isn't hunger. I've heard him beg for scraps before, and it's never sounded like this. Folks around me shrug, turning back to their meals, but I can't shake the feeling crawling up my spine. He keeps going, claws raking the tile, leaving faint scratches as he circles back to me. His eyes are wet, almost glassy, and he's trembling, not from cold, but something deeper. I slide off the stool, kneeling beside him. "Max, what's wrong?" I ask, voice low. He doesn't answer, just pads quick to his pups, nosing each one, licking a smudge off the smallest one's flank. My throat goes dry. He's checking them, like he's afraid of something I can't see. Back he comes, planting himself in front of me, and that howl turns into a wail, a sound that chills the air, makes the hairs on my neck stand up. It's raw, pleading, like he's trying to tell me something vital. I glance at the meat under his paw, still untouched, then at the plates everyone's digging into. A knot forms in my gut, heavy and cold. "Hey, Pete," I call, standing up. "Where'd you say that meat came from again?" Pete waves a spatula, grinning. "Some discount guy. Good deal, huh?" He flips another slab onto the grill, grease popping. The crew doesn't seem to care. Someone tells Max to pipe down. Another tosses a fry his way like it's a game. But Max ignores it, his wail rising, bouncing off the walls. I feel sweat prick my palms despite the diner's heat. He's never acted like this, not even that day at the well with Ethan. My mind races, poison, sickness, something bad in that meat. I want to believe I'm overreacting, but those eyes, locked on mine, won't let me. "Max, come on," I say, reaching for him, but he dodges, circling back to the pups again, then to me, relentless. The diner's noise picks up, folks brushing him off, but I can't. That knot in my gut twists tighter, and I stare at the meat on the counter, its edges glistening under the lights. What if he's right? What if he knows something we don't? I'm frozen, stuck between calling it crazy and trusting the wolf who's never steered me wrong. His cries echo in my ears, and all I can do is watch, heart pounding, as the room keeps eating, oblivious. Max's wails drill into my skull, a sound I can't shake, but the diner's too loud, too stubborn to listen. He's pacing now, claws scraping the floor, that chunk of meat still pinned under his paw like it's cursed. I'm standing there, heart slamming against my ribs, when he suddenly stops howling. His eyes meet mine, wild, wet, desperate, and before I can move, he lunges at the counter. In 3 quick snaps, he gulps down the piece he'd been guarding, then 2 more from a nearby plate. The room goes quiet for a beat, forks hovering midair. "Guess he was just starving," Pete chuckles, reaching over to ruffle Max's fur. "Good boy." A few folks laugh, tension easing as they dig back into their food. I force a grin, but it feels wrong, like a mask slipping. "Yeah, hungry," I mumble, dropping to one knee beside him. His tail thumps once, weak, and he nudges my hand with his nose. I want to believe it, want to think he was just being dramatic, but that knot in my gut won't loosen. Minutes tick by, maybe 5, maybe 10. I'm back on my stool, coffee cold in my hands, when Max lets out a whimper, soft, broken. My head snaps up. He's staggering, legs buckling like they're made of straw. "Max," I say, voice cracking. He collapses hard, thrashing against the tile, a low whine turning into a gag. I'm off the stool in a flash, hitting the floor beside him. Blood trickles from his eyes, then his nose, staining his black fur red. My hands hover over him, shaking, useless. No, Max, hold on." The diner goes dead silent, all eyes on us. His body jerks once, twice, then stills. Blood pools under his head, dark and thick, and those yellow eyes, always so sharp, go dull. I can't breathe. My chest caves in, a sob clawing up my throat, but I choke it back. "Max," I whisper, pressing my hand to his side. He's warm, but there's no rise, no fall. He's gone. Someone gasps. Plates clatter as people shove them away. Pete's voice cuts through, shaky. "What the hell just happened?" I don't answer. Can't. My world's tilting, the room spinning slow. Sarah bursts in from the back, Ethan trailing her, and she freezes when she sees me cradling him. "James," she says, soft, like she's afraid of the answer. I look up, eyes burning. "He's dead." Word spreads fast. A guy in a booth mutters about calling the health inspector, and soon they're testing the meat. Hours later, the truth hits like a punch. Rat poison, laced through every slab, enough to drop everyone in that diner, over 30 of us. Max knew. He ate it to prove it, to stop us. My head's a mess, guilt and grief tangling up inside me. I should have listened sooner, should have trusted him like always. Sarah and I don't talk much that night. We take him out back, the ground frozen and hard under a thin layer of snow. I dig the hole myself, arms aching, tears freezing on my face as I shovel. She stands there, holding a flashlight, her breath puffing out in clouds. "He saved us," she says finally, voice thick. "All of us." I nod, too choked up to speak, and lower him in. His pups are still inside, too young to understand, and I can't look at them without breaking. We cover him up, the dirt piling over that black fur I'd washed clean 5 years ago. I stand there after, staring at the mound, hands stuffed in my pockets. The wind's bitter, cutting through my jacket, but I don't move. He was my shadow, my partner, and now he's gone, because he put himself between us and death. Sarah touches my arm, gentle, and I let out a shaky breath. "Yeah," I say, barely audible. "He did." The night after Max dies feels endless. The kind of dark that presses down on you until you can't tell where it ends and you begin. I'm sitting on my porch, the cold seeping through my jeans, staring at the patch of dirt out back where we buried him. The wind's died down, leaving everything still, too still, like the world's holding its breath. Sarah's inside with Ethan, keeping him close after yesterday's chaos at the diner. I should be with them, but I can't move. My hands are still crusted with soil, and every time I close my eyes, I see Max's face, those yellow eyes fading out. Morning comes slow, gray light creeping over Willow Creek like it's reluctant to show up. I haven't slept, couldn't if I tried. The town's already buzzing, word of what happened spreading faster than a grease fire. Folks I barely know are whispering about the poison meat, about how Max saved us all. I hear it through the cracked window. 32 lives spared because of him. 32. The number sticks in my head, heavy and unreal. I'm still numb, coffee going cold in my mug, when there's a knock at the door. It's Tom Bradley, the cemetery keeper, standing there with his hands in his coat pockets. He's a quiet guy, older, with a face carved up by years of wind and work. I've seen him around, tending graves, but we've never talked much. "Heard about your wolf?" he says, voice low and steady. "Heard what he did." I nod, not sure what to say. My throat's tight, words stuck somewhere I can't reach. He shifts his weight, snow crunching under his boots. I want to give him a proper grave. I blink, caught off guard. "A grave?" My voice rasps out, rough from disuse. "In the cemetery?" Tom nods, like it's the most natural thing. "He's a wolf, Tom," I say, frowning. "Not a person." He doesn't flinch, just meets my eyes with that calm stare of his. "Human or not, he's a hero, James. That's what matters. Saved more lives than most folks ever will." His words hit me hard, cracking something open inside. I look away, out at the yard where Max used to chase shadows, and feel my chest tighten again. "Yeah," I mutter, barely audible. "He was." Tom doesn't push, just stands there, waiting. I rub a hand over my face, dirt still under my nails, and nod. "Okay, if you think it's right." He gives a small, approving grunt, then turns to go. "I'll set it up," he calls over his shoulder. "Let you know when." By noon, the news is everywhere. People stop by, some I know, some I don't, dropping off flowers, notes, even a couple of dog biscuits for Max's pups. Sarah takes it all in stride, stacking everything on the kitchen table while Ethan sits with the little ones, petting their fuzzy heads. "They're saying he's a legend," she tells me, her voice softer than usual. I snort, but it's half-hearted. "He was just Max." She doesn't argue, just squeezes my shoulder and leaves me be. The next day, Tom's back. "Tomorrow," he says, "under the big oak near the gate. Folks want to be there." I don't know what to make of that. Folks wanting to mourn a wolf, but I don't say no. The rest of the day blurs by. I spend it in the garage, tinkering with nothing, just needing the noise of metal on metal to drown out my head. Max's pups tumble around in the corner, yipping and wrestling, and I catch myself watching them too long, seeing him in every move they make. When tomorrow comes, it's cold again. A sharp, wet chill that promises rain. I pull on my jacket, the one Max used to tug when he wanted my attention, and head out. Sarah and Ethan come too, her arm around his shoulders. The cemetery's not far, just past the edge of town, and I can see the crowd from a block away. Over 100 people, maybe more, bundled up against the weather. My steps slow. I didn't expect this, not for him. Tom's there, directing a couple guys with shovels. The spot's perfect, under that sprawling oak, its branches bare but strong, roots curling into the earth like they're holding it together. A mound of fresh dirt sits ready, and beside it, something covered with a tarp. I don't ask, just stand there, hands in my pockets, as people shuffle closer. Some I recognize from the diner, Pete's in the back, head down. A woman who'd been eating with her kid nods at me, eyes red. Others are strangers, drawn by the story, I guess. It feels strange, all these eyes on me, on Max. Sarah nudges me. "They're here for him," she whispers. I swallow hard, nodding. Tom steps up, clearing his throat, and the murmurs die down. "We're here for Max," he starts, simple and direct. "A wolf who gave everything to save us. Don't think there's much more to say than that." He gestures to the tarp, and one of the guys pulls it off. My breath catches, a stone statue, rough but clear, of Max. He's standing tall, head high, eyes fierce like they were that day at the well. It's him, carved out of rock, proud and steady. A lump rises in my throat and I look away, blinking fast. The crowd shifts, some stepping up to lay flowers. Roses, daisies, whatever they could find this time of year. Ethan tugs free from Sarah and drops a stick by the statue, one he'd been saving for Max to fetch. "He liked this one," he says, voice small. I ruffle his hair, not trusting myself to speak. Tom and the guys lift Max's body, wrapped in an old blanket of mine, and lower him into the ground. The dirt hits the cloth with soft thuds, each one heavier than the last. I clench my fists, nails digging into my palms, and focus on breathing. Sarah's crying now, quiet, and I feel the sting in my own eyes but hold it back. The rain starts then, light at first, pattering against the leaves overhead, then harder, soaking us through. Nobody leaves. When the hole's filled, Tom smooths it out, and the statue's set right above, anchoring the spot. People linger, talking low, some patting my back as they pass. "He was something," an old guy says, voice rough. "Never forget that." I nod, throat too tight to answer. The crowd thins slow, folks drifting off, but I stay, rain dripping off my hood, staring at that stone wolf. Sarah takes Ethan home, promising to check on the pups, and I'm alone with him again. I step closer, resting a hand on the statue. It's cold, slick with rain, but solid, unchanging. "You did good, Max," I say, voice breaking. "Real good." The words hang there, swallowed by the downpour. I think about that first day, him shivering on my doorstep, and how he stuck with me through everything. The well, the diner, all of it. He wasn't just a wolf, he was mine, and he gave me more than I ever gave him. The rain's pounding now, muddling the edges of the world, but I don't move. That weight in my chest shifts, not gone, but lighter, like he's still here, watching. I glance at the statue one more time, those carved eyes staring out over Willow Creek, and feel a flicker of something. Pride, maybe, or peace. He's not just a memory, he's a mark on this town, on me, forever. I turn to go, boots squelching in the wet earth, and for the first time since he fell, I think I might be okay. Thank you for watching. If you like the story, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.